Star Wars Hunters has shut down today after a few years of being some people's favourite Star Wars game. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you reasons from Zynga as to why it did not succeed, plus what the diehard community are doing to try and resurrect this game because they don't want it to be the last day that we can play Star Wars Hunters. Before we do dive into all of today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future Star Wars gaming news updates. So, it is very unfortunate that the official end of Star Wars Hunters is today. The game is done, you can't play it anymore. The servers have been turned off and there was no offline component. That may change, and I'll get into that later on in the video. But firstly, I just wanted to make this video to say goodbye to this game that I actually had a good time playing. I put lots of hours into it, even though I'm not a mobile gamer. I played with the game docked up and played on a bigger screen with a controller, and it was a lot of fun that way. It had a lot, and I mean a lot, of incredible love put into it by the developers. They really added some incredible Star Wars lore and also took inspiration from existing canon and the expanded universe, and wow, they really did do a good job at the little details. Whether it be the cosmetics or the maps, they all had something original or bringing in things that we have loved before. The development team did not deserve what has happened to this game. I've been covering it since the beginning, since it got announced all the way back in 2021, and when soft launch happened a few months later, I made a ton of videos on it. I've continued to make videos on it, but it did slow down because we would go 6 or even I think 9 months at one point without any news, which just was not good for this game. In my opinion, Zynga completely mishandled how they marketed this game. They had an audience that was different to what they were used to, a more console and PC player base, but they loved Star Wars games. There were tons of refugees from Battlefront that were looking for a new Star Wars game, and they messed it up. They did not understand the audience that would have wanted this game, and they decided to target a different audience that didn't want this game. I've already discussed at length things that went wrong with the marketing and such about this game, and I've got my own personal stories which I've briefly mentioned elsewhere, just behind the scenes stuff that is just not good, but I really do commend the developers who actually worked on this game, who had a game that met an unjustified quick ending. I mean, they were literally prepping for the PC launch, and then Zynga and Take-Two just decided to get rid of it at a moment's notice, which is such a shame. So moving on from talking about the bad things that has happened with this game, I want to discuss what the community is doing, and shout out some things that have been going on over the past few days. So for starters, this is an account on Blue Sky that is fantastic, and if you're a Star Wars Hunters fan, definitely check it out. It's by a guy called Shane, and basically he is breaking down all of the individual cosmetics and things like that, all of the references in the game and where they came from. It's really, really cool, and I would definitely recommend you check it out, because now the game is being taken offline, it's going to be exceptionally hard to really figure out what this game had, so we are all data mining the files, trying to keep as much as possible to preserve this game in some way, because, well, it's unplayable right now. Lots of people have been taking to the Star Wars Hunter subreddit in the past month or so for the final month of the game. We've had a bunch of videos posted from creators like Parallel to people saying their long, heartfelt goodbyes that were just players in the community. Some people have been creating fan art or custom Star Wars Hunters Black Series scale figures, which are so cool. There are other people that have been translating all of the Aurebesh across all of the different maps, because again, with this game going offline, to try and preserve the artwork and some of the developers' work as much as we can, this is what the fans are really trying to do. Someone even is creating a custom working Reeve lightsaber. Let's now get into what may happen for the future of Star Wars Hunters. So there is someone that has taken the PC version of the game and has managed to boot into it. They are trying to figure out if they can sort of reverse engineer the ability to play the game offline by bypassing the server login, which is now offline. You can't obviously do that on the PC version of the game. There are also people that have looked into doing it on the mobile side of things, but that may be lost cause. It just depends on people having the motivation and time to be able to try and rescue this game. We've just got to give these we just have to give these really dedicated community members some time to see if they are able to rescue this game. It may take some time, and if anyone wants to take a crack at it, then go ahead and download the PC build of the game or one of the APKs for this game. You can check out the post right here on Reddit. You can see that you're able to download the PC version. It was the first playtest that was done in December, so not the January build that we should have gotten with the extra content like the Coruscant Underworld map and such. It's a shame that specifically is missing, but nevertheless, anything at this point would be a good thing. There was another project to remake Star Wars Hunters, and they are taking the assets and trying to put it into Unreal Engine and package it up to see if they can actually just have the maps playable, so we can just walk around offline on our own time, play with the hunters, and just still have access to the game, even if it's not multiplayer, which I think is fine for preservation purposes. With this being an online-only game, and nothing has been done from the developer's side to help save this game, at this point, we need to take all we can get, and if it means simply the ability to only spawn into maps and play as hunters by yourself, potentially with AI, then so be it. It is better than absolutely nothing at all, because this is a Star Wars game that took several years of development and many millions of dollars gone to waste if nothing can ever be done to rescue it. Of course, if any of these projects do come out and actually are playable, I will make videos, so make sure you do stick around for that. Let's now move on to what Zynga thought went wrong with Star Wars Hunters, because we do have some interesting comments. I've mentioned these before on my channel, but not everyone saw that video, so I thought I'd put it in this video as it made sense, as this might be the final ever Star Wars Hunters video. So these comments come from Zynga's CEO, Frank Gibeau, and he spoke to the game business, and basically this is what they believe went wrong with the game. The game was fun and a great tech base, but the problem was it wasn't a viable business. Zynga weren't able to generate organic installs from the license, so Star Wars fans. Gibeau says, we had some issues with how we could explore the intellectual property. So could you play as Darth Vader or could you not? That sort of thing. We ended up with a cross-platform game on Switch and mobile that ran perfectly. And it's true. Hunters was one of the best, most optimized games you can play on mobile. It looked great for a mobile game. It ran pretty well. And in terms of demands for mobile, it wasn't actually that very high. It barely took any battery life out of your mobile device. It was really well optimized. It didn't heat up your device much at all. I was very, very impressed. A lot of people were impressed. He goes on to say they are looking at taking the tech that they've made for the game to the base of the game, essentially the game except the Star Wars stuff, and then release a new game in the same category, a third-person shooter. They may even be applying it to another intellectual property, so we could see, I don't know, a Marvel game or something using Star Wars Hunters as a base, so that's going to be very disappointing if that's the case, because they should have just kept this game running and put it out on PC at least. There was also a report from Pocket Gamer Biz that discussed the shutdown and what happened behind the scenes. So at one point there was around 250 staff working on Star Wars Hunters, which is AAA numbers. That just goes to show how much of a big operation this game was and how they were really shooting above what Zynga typically do put out. The game was, according to this report, expensive to make for a mobile game, mostly due to the fact that it was being made by Natural Motion, a premier studio based within the UK. So the salaries for the developers and the office space is way higher in places like London and Brighton, where Natural Motion and Boss Alien were based, as opposed to other mobile games that are done in other countries that are cheaper to produce them in. The game also suffered from troubled development, which I think we all sort of knew this, and went through multiple creative leads on the project. It is a shame that this game did not work out. I do know that there is such a dedicated community that have made this their Star Wars game that they've played a lot over the past few months and years. and it's a shame that the worldwide launch lasted just over a year. As I mentioned in a previous video, Zynga did have an agreement in place with Lucasfilm for an option to develop a second Star Wars game after the release of Star Wars Hunters, and that game had a bunch of concept art made for it, and it was cancelled, so that game will not be happening either, so it's not like they are going to go back and do more Star Wars. If you want to see all of that concept art and details on what that game was, check out the video in the top right hand corner of the screen. Some people have been completely unjustly hateful towards this game, purely because it was a mobile game, even if they never even checked it out. And that's just a shame, because they would also attack people that enjoyed this game a lot. Why are you attacking people that enjoy a game just because you don't like it, or haven't even tried it? The Hunters community just got kicked all around a lot by other Star Wars gaming communities, which is just not the right thing to do. We're all in the same sort of niche, and we should all be supporting each other, even though it is a mobile game. I mean, it would have become a console game and a PC game, for sure, if it just did not get shut down so quickly. I really hope this is not going to be my final Star Wars Hunters video, and that whoever, whenever someone is able to actually put together an offline version of the game, I will make a video on it so I can spread the news and you guys can check it out for yourself, hopefully on PC. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, and of course, share your love for the Star Wars Hunters community down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any future Star Wars gaming news updates. If you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.